there. I'm going to grab a new screen. Let's get a new Chrome window going here. We can then hit our GitHub link, habitat.sh/habitat. And, all right, good there. And then I'm going to go ahead and share the screen into the YouTube channel as well, so that way everybody gets to see it. So anybody that's on Twitch, you're going to get a double dose of that. Let me move that out of the way, make this bigger here, present that to everybody, and then we're good to go. Great. So we usually post a query into the Slack channel. Let me post the links to the streams, and then we have pinned. Now this is the problem, right, with 3 Slack teams. I'm not sure if our pins are still going to exist. Oh yeah, look at that. Pins stay. That's great. So let me copy this into our window here and send an announcement to general. So those of you that are watching can feel free to follow along if you'd like. Sweet. So, and Nell, can you see that okay there?
I can indeed.
Sweet. Excellent. One thing I should probably do. Oh yeah, that's fine. I'm not exactly sure why the Google Hangouts doesn't. I got a new webcam. It seems to be working fine for Twitch and OBS. It doesn't seem to be working with Google Hangouts, but that's okay because I'm sharing my screen anyways, right? Sweet. So what we're sorting on today is open issues that are not attached to a project and have no milestone. We typically sort these issues in order of newest to oldest. And every now and then we'll flip that up. And a lot of times we're actually going back to our triage issues and re-triaging them to make sure that they're still in the appropriate bucket. We have a process around this that we're developing. We're hoping to be doing this every month. So all of the plans or issues that you may see come in that we don't do anything with initially, we just sort into a help wanted bucket, may eventually get reprioritized into the appropriate bucket. But for now, this is kind of the way that we do things for those of you who haven't seen one of these before. So we're going to start with issue number 3208, which is issue opened by Dave Reed. And it's pretty straightforward, right? Oh, you know what I just realized? I need to probably log in to this, which means I might be able to just pop up a new link here. Link. And I'm going to share a different window here really quick so you can see, so we can actually go through this with with one that is the right thing. There we go. Easier for me to not have to type in my password and shit on live stream. So, all right, here we go. So 3208, give everybody a second on this. It's pretty straightforward. This is a docs issue. We have lots of docs issues that are open right now. We have a lot of efforts that are underway to take our docs and kind of consolidate them, make them a little more usable. And Dave is kind of pushing a lot of that. He's adding lots and lots of content. So most anything that he opens is going to be accepted. So for this, we're going to add another flag of chore. Easy. This is all going to be, I mean, it's HTML. It's not really HTML, but we'll flag with HTML since it's site stuff. And then what we're going to do is we will actually add this to the milestone of accepted minor. And we're going to dump that into the core eng project backlog.
Cool.
Great. Easy first one. Great. All right, let's move on to 3207. Pagination on certain API endpoints is broken. I don't know why that's not loading.
Hello, GitHub.
Oh, maybe my computer might just be really angry about all the processes I have running right now. Because there's quite a lot.
Are you running that on a MacBook Pro?
I am not. I'm actually running it on a Razer Blade.
Oh, okay.
But it's not Windows, it's Linux.
Right.
And actually, last week, when we did this stream, Google Hangouts crashed my machine.
I remember that.
And it looks like it may be doing that again. I'm not really totally sure. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I'm totally locked up here. Probably, yeah. What we should probably do is, I wonder if you can take over screen sharing, no?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Let me pull up that query. All right, everyone, give me just a moment to get that up and close a couple of other things, turn off my notifications, and then I should be ready to share my screen. So 1 second. Let's put that on that. All right, cool. Move that window over here. This window over here. And let's see here. I'm going to now share my screen. It's going to get really meta for a second there. Whee! Oh, actually, it's not doing the matrix thing. That's cool. All right, so, yep, all right. So let's bring this over here, and let's take a look. Ian, are you still there? Hello? All right, let me see if I can get Ian back. 1 second. This is what happens when you do things live. All right, I'm gonna see if I can hear him on Twitch. All right, Twitch is offline, so I think his computer crashed. So we're gonna give him just a moment to come back. Ian. Okay. Huh. All right. Looks like he's not more, and let's wait for him to come back. I'm a big fan of Twitch, by the way, so it's cool to see him. Okay, looks like he's back in the Twitch stream. Yep.
Ooh, that was fun. Wow.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm back.
Actually seems so.
I'm going to let you do the screen share.
I don't have an echo.
Oh, you're not echoing for me. Maybe it's on your side.
Oh, I had to turn off Twitch.
Yes.
Well, I close watching the broadcast while I'm broadcasting because that's just turtles all the way down. All right. Indeed. Well, good to have you. Good to have you back, Ian. And let's go ahead and look at the pagination on certain API endpoints is broken.
Perfect.
Give everyone a moment to read that.
Yep.
Yep. Yep, this is definitely a bug.
Yeah, so the only question that I've got is whether or not this goes into the backlog immediately. So it's something we're probably definitely going to have to do. It's not something that other people are going to be able to handle. So I think it probably needs to go in the backlog.
Yep. So just throw that in core engineering?
Yep, and then go ahead and add it to the milestone of accepted minor.
Gotcha.
I think that'd be a minor change.
Cool. Yeah. It's kind of like surgery. We don't fully know until we get in there, but yeah, we can always change that if needed.
Yeah. And for anybody that's watching this stream, when we say minor, we don't mean that that's not an extensive change. We just mean that it doesn't break backwards compatibility. So in case there's a question of anybody who's watching.
Yep. All right, cool. All right, so do I need to comment anything on that, or we just leave it as it is?
Oh, I think that's probably fine. So just another note, Raschenke is Josh Black, who is one of the core maintainers and core project engineers. So most of the time, if one of us put something in, we're pretty aware of the context around it. So
I've never seen his little GitHub message here. Dogs love me because I'm crazy sniffable. It's hilarious. All right, back onto it. Gotta love GitHub. All right, document how to natively build Windows packages. Wrap, refactor, and reference Matt's blog post here and here. Those, as far as I know, are pretty clear. Habitat on Windows. And yep, I'd say this is I'd put that in the core engineering project and say it's an accepted minor.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing we might want to do, so we have like one or two specific doc refactor efforts that are underway right now. Both of which are going to be around just kind of making the docs more usable. Obviously, this is the second issue that we've triaged this week from Dave. He's putting a ton of effort into this. So one of the changes that I'm pushing for us to make is to move to refactor the organization of the docs in a way where we have like a guide section as well as like actual user docs. So stuff like this. It's kind of a question on whether this should be like, we should refactor further to where we've got like, here is how you do everything on Windows. Here's how you do everything on Linux. Here's how you do everything on OS X. Those experiences should be transparent, really. We should have feature parity across all those platforms, but that's just a little background info for anybody that's curious.
All right. We at Chef and at Habitat treat Windows as a first-class citizen. All right, so speaking of, this is a bug I actually filed yesterday. So right now, okay, looks like, I'll let everyone read that for a second before I start talking about it.
So this is in line with Dave's other one.
Yep. So it looks like it's expected behavior that Hab Studio Enter would enter Docker Studio on Windows. It does not. And let me grab the error from that and put it into here, because I think I still have that in Slack history. Let's see here. Just a second. All right. Cool. Oh, I know where that is. That'd be in the Windows channel. Yep. Oh, I'm trying to enter a Docker Studio. I'm unable to build Linux packages on Windows. All right, so we got that commented. And all Are we gonna say this is or should we put it in the core engineering project, or where do you think we should put this, Ian?
So with an issue like this, I do think it probably needs to go into core engineering, and it needs, like, my assumption is, now this may not be totally accurate because this also may have changed since we actually cut a release last night. This bug may be resolved, but when it's not. Okay, perfect. So it's probably just something as simple as our release process had a change in it, and our Docker images are not getting uploaded appropriately. So I think it probably is a bug, but we'll need. I think Matt does a lot of the management of that, right. Handling those images. So we'll just kind of have to follow up. I do think probably accepted minor is fine, and putting it in core engineering is also fine.
Sounds good. All right, come back. Support package depreciation in the depot. Oh.
Yep.
Oh, we read this on Supermarket. I remember this.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep, and we've had lots of conversations about this recently. So, and Adam's example here is a great example. So we had a core inspec package, but the team who handle the inspec open source project decided that they wanted to have kind of their own origin, and not kind of rely on the Habitat open source project to maintain that. They kind of wanted to do it all themselves. So there's a few different reasons they wanted to do that. But what we have now is that because we don't have a way to deprecate or pull packages like you would in say crates. You know, if any of you have experience with the Rust project and the way that the crates.io works for pulling a package from being listed, because of the way that Habitat functions, in the way that in compiling packages and our deterministic builds, it's kind of dangerous to have a feature that just allows you to totally remove a package. So what we really want is this deprecation feature that allows us to kind of unlist a package, so that you can still access it if you have the fully qualified package name, but you're not, you're not, I don't know, you're never in a situation where somebody just removes a package and the next time, and that, breaks the builds of 50 other packages. So.
Yep, we don't want to do the left pad thing with NPM from a few years ago.
Oh yeah. Yep.
All right. So I'm going to put that in core engineering. And milestone, it doesn't seem like it'd break anything, so I
don't think it breaks anything. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's mostly going to be just the way that we expose available packages on the depot. Searching and everything and all of that shouldn't have to change all that much. So, and I don't think it changes the package format at all.
All right. So add package bin link intends to bin link all dependencies, not just runtime dependencies. Let's read this.
Yep.
Oh. Okay.
So yeah. You know what? I'm actually going to pull this up in my own window here.
Okay.
Pull GitHub up specifically. So this issue is more, I think, of a side effect.
Yeah.
Than it is like an actual bug. Because it's not binlink. What binlink actually does is it goes through the bin directory. If you don't tell it otherwise, if you don't specify, so like if you, a better way to kind of explain this is if I pull I think I might be able to pull a terminal window over here. And I'm gonna move that over there. Move this over here really quick. Yeah. And minimize all of this stuff. Got a bunch of junk in the way here. So one of the things is, zoom in a little bit. hab package bin link. If you look at the hab package bin link help output.
Do you want to be sharing your screen?
I can, yeah. I'm sharing it in yeah, this is part of the whole thing of like Twitch.
Gotcha, yeah.
But let me go ahead and
That's
share it here as well so that it's easy for everybody to kind of see. Doink. There we go. Can move that. And I can just kind of manage it here. So you can see we've got this behavior in the hab package bin link subcommand where you can pass in a binary, right? So the default behavior for hab package bin link is that it actually traverses the package bin DIRs. It will traverse that /bin in the root of the destination directory. It will find all of the binaries in there, and it will link all of them unless you do unless you specify, right, a specific thing. So if I just go into habitat core plans, and I enter the studio, and you can just hab package install. Oh, what is a good example of one of these that puts out a bunch of different packages? I guess core inspec maybe is one that we could do. Yeah. What is the example that he has there actually in his?
He has chef inspec actually.
Okay, so let's do install chef inspec. And I'll go back to this. So we've got chef inspec installed in the studio here. And if we do hab package, oops, I can't type today. I'm blaming it on a cold and all the cold medicine I'm on right now.
Someone is watching me typing syndrome is what I call that.
Yep. So what we can do is we run that hab package bin link. Chef inspec is the name of the package. Then we can actually pass in the name of the binary we want to bin link. So that's the way that works. By default, though, if you don't pass in the specific binary you want and your package actually compiles more than one binary on the other end or more than one executable, bam, it's going to do all of the above. So the important thing here, it's important that like some of this is going to be, there may be some features around this, but there also may be just some work that we need to kind of as a community rally behind and in order to define what things get put where inside of our packages. Now, if your package is like a Ruby binary, right? Binary, Ruby, whatever script, like inspect, you're going to have all these runtime deps and depending on how you do your linking in your build and where you output those things, you may end up with a bunch of extra stuff inside of your binders, or you may end up with exactly what you need, and therefore the next time somebody goes to bin link to get access to that on an underlying system, it could be this exact situation that Adam has detailed here for us. So gotcha. I just wanted to kind of explain it so everybody can see exactly what he's talking about.
Cool. Okay. So projects core engineering, milestone, accepted minor?
Yeah, I think this might actually go under help wanted. I don't know that it needs to go on core engineering. So I think this is probably more of a chore than it is a bug.
Okay. That'd be this one. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. And so the other labels here, I think, are going to be, I think this is mostly shellcode for this logic, for the bin linking logic. And I think the effort level here is going to be less easy, because there's going to be a lot to think about with regards to how to make this behave in an appropriate way. I do think it's a valid issue, and thanks, Adam, if you're watching the stream or you watch this later, thanks for opening this, because I think this could help push us one way or the other into having a more defined process for how to handle this kind of thing. So,
agreed.
Cool.
All right. Let's see if we can get through a few of them. A few more. All right. Update runtime systems documentation with examples.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
So yeah.
What is 2A1? Oh, yeah.
Yep. I think that this is important. I do think it is a duplicate, and I think we could probably close it so long as we have the reference back to this. And close it in favor of 2881, just because 2881 has also been added to an epic that we're tracking for this large doc refactor. But it's on point. It's totally right. Thanks, Frank, for putting that in. I think that the hook stuff in our runtime docs, a lot of that stuff is the content is there. It just needs to be kind of expanded in certain places and also reorganized in to make it more accessible for people.
Cool. All right, going back. Let me refresh this because I'm losing my place. All right, display hooks in execution order and then enhance their descriptions. Let's read this. All right, let's see what 3195 is. All right, looks like she added quite a few of them.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I think that this is good. Yeah, so let's actually put this in accepted minor and put it under the core eng project, and I'll actually attach it over to the epic that we've got tracking some of this stuff.
Cool. All right. Next one is add more troubleshooting documentation.
Also good.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at this today.
Yeah. I'd say this should definitely be accepted minor.
Yep. We've got that troubleshooting page. Part of the refactor that I've got that I haven't pushed up yet is making that a little more exposed into it. It's actually a troubleshooting section. So adding content into that troubleshooting section should be kind of trivial once we get the refactor in for that. And that'll be just kind of a nested at one level. And it is literally just troubleshooting. The way that I've got that refactor looking right now is that I've got a section that is just on developing plans, and that takes a bunch of our content. We've modularized it into partials, and then we pull it all into to kind of put together a page that includes everything that you might want to go through for developing a plan from build to runtime. So and the troubleshooting bits are in there. There'll be some runtime stuff that we're going to need to add, runtime troubleshooting specifically, that we're going to need to add in there that I think is probably super important. So
I didn't know about attach either.
Oh, really?
Really
yeah.
Useful. Cool.
Oh, super useful.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
It's not exposed in a really meaningful way. So.
All right. Display callbacks in execution order, and then display enhanced descriptions.
Yep. I think that's important too. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep, on point. It's good. Good stuff. Thank you, Frank. I think the issues, anybody who's ever worked on an open source project can probably attest to this, but the issues that are documentation are some of the most helpful that you can actually get as a maintainer. And the issues are excellent because it helps you kind of refine the way that you communicate about the project and how to use the tools. Luckily for the Habitat project, our docs are actually in our open source repo. The whole site is in there. So if and actually I was talking to Frank this morning about some of these issues, and he's already starting PRs for them. If you're ever looking for something to contribute to an open source project, documentation PRs are by far the most useful PR that you can get because
Plus
documentation.
1,000%.
Yeah, it is super hard to keep it up to date, and issues are great. PRs are even better. So if anybody out there has an interest in contributing something to the community, that is immensely helpful and has a very low barrier to entry. So
right, and really quickly, I want to add to that. As maintainers, we tend to develop, I think, a certain blindness because we see the project so often, we know how it works. So those PRs coming from people who are using it but not necessarily involved in creating it are much superior, I think.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt.
All right, so hab can config apply, can apply config to service group that doesn't exist yet. Chicken and egg.
Yep. Yeah. So I think that we want this behavior. I don't think I don't know that it's a bug.
Right.
Actually, no, now that I think about this, I think that Adam was talking about this in general the other day. And I'll search in general real quick here and see if I can't find it. Something. September 11th, it looks like. Let me see. Yeah, so I think that is not, it is, this should be expected behavior. So this should be flagged as a bug. We do, I think, expect to be able to pass in the config and then start the service. I'm trying to find the place where Adam actually said that before we mark it that way, but we can always update later.
Okay. What do you think? Accepted minor?
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
Oh, that's I put it in accepted major. Accepted minor is what I'm looking for. All right, there we go. Yeah, I think that's the best category for right now, at least. Cool. All right. Let's do some clearing. All right. CLI docs are auto-generating wrong command. I do remember hearing about this. Okay, this I would classify as a bug because it's being auto-generated.
Yeah, what was the actual initial issue for this one? Hab config apply, not hab butterfly config apply. So is that not the alias? Maybe it's not.
I honestly don't know.
Let me see.
Okay.
Something I can test. Yeah, it is. I think it might actually be an alias. Hab apply. Yeah, well, it is. I don't know if it's the intended alias. I can actually, what I could do is this. Let me share my screen here again.
Sure.
Go ahead and Pop this up. Doink. There we go. So what we can actually do is...
we're not seeing it in the Hangout.
all right. Present to everyone. Yeah, juggling two... juggling two things is weird.
Yep.
Oh, am I... Can you see it now? It doesn't look like I'm...
Oh, I can see your screen. It's not mine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still seeing yours. It just got bigger. Now it's bigger.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, maybe you have to... Let me see, actually.
I can do that. There.
Perhaps.
Yeah,
there we go. Now, present to everyone? No, it's just not working.
I'm seeing your screen.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm not sure what the deal is here. What I'll do is just kind of make that smaller over here so that the people on Twitch can also see it. I'll throw this here.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Cool. So if we actually go into some of our clap subcommands, we can go into components hab, which is where a majority of the hab binary stuff exists. Source and CLI. We can actually go in and look at some of the aliases. So, and this is where all of that help documentation actually gets configured from. So hab butterfly is we've got a bunch of crates that we kind of, it's basically Habitat consists of all these different tools that are kind of very, very tightly coupled together inside of a single binary. So, so you can see we've got our config sub config apply here. Oops. Right, here's the function. Those are all the things we expect. Now, if I pop this over here, you can kind of see oops, wrong thing. Help on that one specific subcommand because of clap. You can kind of see these match up, right? You got your version number. You can kind of see these are the required arguments for some of this stuff. You can see the flags for org and peer and ring and user and that kind of thing. So anyways, so that is in there. What I wanted to see was no, I'm wondering if this is actually going to be in the crate for that functionality. Hab config sub package config. There we go. Passed off. Yeah, so I'm wondering if this is just because of the way that we have all of our stuff set up. I might be wrong about this completely. Butterfly is our gossip protocol.
Yep.
And
butterfly.
And I don't think that most of that. I think most of that though is just like back end network code. I don't think that the actual handling of that subcommand is done in there. I think that that's all done in the hab crate, or maybe the hab butterfly crate. I feel like every time I look at our source code, we've got like a new.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yep, here we go. Hab butterfly. But that's going to be depart file config apply. Yep, there it is. Yeah. So this is just because of the way, I don't know if this is part of a refactor or what. This looks like it was added in July. So no, this is not a new, or the last time it was modified was in July. This is not new. So I don't know if this is actually a bug or not. It seems like it might be expected behavior.
Huh.
If only because... Like expected from clap. Like
yeah.
So from what I can see really quickly without like knowing 100% is if we pull up the Hab CLI bits again, we can kind of switch back and look at the two. Oh. Alias for config apply. There's our listed aliases, right? Hab CLI, Hab config. Yeah, we just want to go back to that. Sub config apply. It's interesting. I don't know why we would need this in both places.
Sure.
So maybe it is. This may be a bug or it may be a chore. I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. It seems strange that we would have the CLI bits.
All right, Ian, you're breaking up a little bit in the Hangout.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Let's see. Maybe I'll stop screen sharing over there. That might help. I can hear you fine. I don't know if you can hear me.
In bits and pieces.
Okay. All right. Well, let's.
Okay, now it's better.
Okay. Yeah, I closed out a couple things and stopped screen sharing in 2 places. So you can go ahead and oh, it looks like maybe Nell's having network problems. Whoops. So you can see, anyways, if we're looking at this exec subcommand, if called, which would be the apply. We're looking at that config apply. It does look like it might be reaching out there.
Okay, that's better. It failed, but it's back now.
Oh, great. Well, great-ish.
And on that, we are just about at time, I think, before we need to our next meeting. But do you want to write up a response on that issue we were just looking at regarding the CLI stuff?
Yes, I will. I'll go ahead and do that, and we can kind of come back to that in maybe next week or later in the week out of band. So thanks for hopping on, Nell, and sorry everybody for the delay in getting started. Next week should be a little bit smoother, and we should probably be on time. We did shift the time that we're going to be doing these. And next week, most of the team will be back from Tokyo. So we will have more people here, theoretically, and hopefully just churn through some of these issues that have been sitting out there for a couple of weeks now. So, all right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.